Beowulf in Emmerdale is at a significant crossroads in his life. His story is not only a battle within himself, but also a journey to rediscover who he is after being caught in a whirlwind of guilt, addiction, and suffering. Recently, after the death of Ray Walters, Bear thought he might have been able to step out of the shadow of his past. But when he hears about Ray's funeral, everything collapses once again, pulling him back into memories that can never be erased. It is Ray's departure that sends Bear into a spiral. Although Bear had made some progress in his recovery after being manipulated and abused by Ray, the death of Ray feels like a powerful punch, awakening the nightmares inside him once again. He still can't accept the truth that he took someone's life, even though Ray was the villain. The guilt eats away at him, leaving Bear unable to escape the torment of his own soul. Paddy, the father who has always protected and worried about Bear, cannot accept that his son is attending Ray's funeral. He fears this will be the biggest setback in Bear's healing journey. However, in his panic, Bear insists on attending the ceremony. He can't ignore the fact that Ray, despite being an evil person, was also a part of his life. Bear's logic and emotions are in conflict, and this internal battle is what pushes him to take this contradictory action. When Bear attends the funeral, he faces strong opposition from his family, especially from Paddy. Yet Bear remains resolute, and the tension in the family only escalates. The pent-up emotions that Bear has been carrying start to explode. He becomes angry and resentful towards everyone around him, particularly his father. Nothing can help me. Bear feels that all the support from his family is nothing more than empty words, unable to heal the deep wounds inside him. Out of anger and despair, Bear turns to alcohol as a way to escape reality. But as he drowns in his drunkenness, he cannot stop thinking about what he's been through. The suffering of facing his past, the loss, and the guilt only exhaust him further. Unable to bear the crisis any longer, Bear harms himself, and once again the hospital becomes his refuge. At this point, Bear no longer knows where to seek help, other than from within himself. However, in this moment of desperation, Bear receives support from Aaron. Both have experienced deep trauma in their lives, and Aaron understands Bear like no one else. He shares his own story and gently tells Bear that he is not the only one who carries guilt. "What you did wasn't entirely your choice," Aaron says softly. This encouragement becomes a small light in Bear's dark night. He begins to open up and accept that he is not the villain he believes himself to be. This is a significant step in Bear's self-healing journey, although the road ahead is still fraught with challenges. Bear's story is not just about a man trapped in guilt. It is a story about seeking self-forgiveness and the relationships that help him through the darkest times. Every step Bear takes is filled with difficulty, but the empathy and love from those around him are what he needs to make it through the toughest moments of his life. The pain, the haunting, and the guilt that Bear carries are an inseparable part of the grand journey he must undertake. Can Bear find salvation and overcome the ghosts of his past? The answer to this question is still uncertain, but one thing is for sure. Bear will never face this battle alone.